One of the other really popular subspecies of carpet python is, of course, the jungle carpet python, which you find in northeastern Queensland, the rainforests of northeastern Queensland, such as the forests that surround me here. Now, the best way to find this beautiful animal is to actually drive on the roads at night. The first couple of hours after sunset, when the roads are still warm, temperature's still relatively high, that's when they're out and they're active. So as soon as the sun goes down, which is probably in about 20 minutes, I'm going to start driving this road and see if I can find something. Okay, right, and it's now nightfall, so let's head off and see what we can find crossing the road. The white-tailed rat. Well, there's a lot of frogs out tonight, even though it hasn't started raining yet. It's a little bit overcast, but the frogs have come out anyway, which is a good sign because frogs are the natural prey of a lot of snakes. So if the frogs are out, it's a sign that there may be some snakes out. Things are looking promising in the first 5 minutes. Oh yeah, I think we got something on the road here. Oh, it's looked promising. Oh, that looks like a carpet. That is really nice. Wow, now that is a sight for sore eyes for any herpetologist or any reptile keeper. That is a jungle carpet python, a yearling by the look of it. Still quite cool. Still quite cool. Obviously wasn't out basking much, wasn't in a very warm place. Certainly is a very nice specimen. This has beautifully contrasting patterns. It's got very clean yellow markings. Now that is a characteristic that is highly prized by reptile keepers. You can see that the yellow is very clean and it doesn't have a lot of black tipping in the scales. There's not a lot of muddying with melanin, which is the dark pigment. So this is actually quite a nice specimen. If this was in a captive collection, it would probably be a highly prized animal. But it's actually starting to constrict my hand now. It's feeling a little insecure and it just wants to get that feeling of security, and that's why it's constricting me. It's being defensive, it's not being aggressive in any way. And I can feel the temperature of this animal is actually a bit warmer than I thought. It feels warmer than the temperature of the air, which would make sense because it's probably been basking for a while. Okay, well we'll just take him off the road and put him in a tree. Jungle carpet pythons vary quite a bit in colour and pattern depending on where they are found. This snake originates from Atherton and is less colourful than this one originating from the Johnson River. In this individual from Cape Tribulation, the yellow has been replaced by white. Selective breeding in this subspecies has produced some spectacular pythons. This specimen won first prize at the 2009 Castle Hill Frog and Reptile Expo. An animal such as this is considered outstanding because of its bright and highly contrasting colours. The carpet python family includes several other subspecies that are somewhat less colourful. The Western Australian form Morelia imbricata is particularly dull, like this one filmed in the wild near Perth, though hatchlings do look a little brighter. This is the Murray-Darling form, which is similar in pattern to the West Australian form, but lighter in colour. Morelia bredli, or the Centralian carpet python, is a much more attractive orangey red. This is a clutch of bredli pythons in the process of hatching. Like all carpet pythons, hatchlings do not emerge with adult coloration. It usually takes at least 6 months before you get an idea of what sort of adults they will become. The Darwin carpet is another subspecies, but this is renowned for its snappy nature. This line has been developed in an albino form, which is attractive, but unfortunately just as snappy as the regular Darwin carpet. The road test results for this episode produced the following scores. For the diamond python, hatchlings go for about $300 each, so on price I gave them a score of 7. Diamond pythons are bred in captivity with some regularity, but they are not as easy as some of the other subspecies. A 6 on availability. Having evolved to withstand cold winters, diamond pythons should not be maintained in a heated enclosure all year round. However, they should not be allowed to get too cold during winter either. In an outdoor enclosure, they will seek ultraviolet levels and temperatures that suit them, but they must also be given sufficient recesses to shelter from extremes of heat and cold. Indoor enclosures should provide a similar temperature gradient and also provide plenty of artificial UV, a score of 5. Diamonds are well suited to life in an outdoor aviary, where they have access to natural sources of heat and light. However, they have been successfully kept and bred indoors. As a general rule, your cage should be big enough to allow the snake to stretch out to its full body length, a score of 6. Will conveniently eat frozen thawed rodents such as rats and mice, a score of 8 in the fuel category. Wow factor. Diamond pythons are a familiar snake to many people on the East Coast, particularly those in and around Sydney. A wow factor score of 3, giving a total score of 35. For the jungle carpet python. Jungle carpets range in price from about $400 to $1,000 each, depending on pattern and colour. A score of 5 seems fair. Jungle carpets are popular and frequently bred in captivity. A score of 8 on availability. These pythons do benefit from a heat source made available all year round, but as with any reptile, they also require a thermal gradient and a place to cool down within the enclosure. A score of 7. Garaging. An enclosure should be big enough to allow the snake to stretch out to its full body length. These snakes also appreciate plenty of branches within their enclosure. A score of 7. Will conveniently eat frozen thawed rodents such as rats and mice. A score of 8 in the fuel category. Wow factor. This is the most popular subspecies of carpet python, and some of the colour and pattern morphs being developed are very attractive. A wow factor score of 6, giving an overall score of 41. For reptile licensing requirements, contact your local National Parks office.
For care sheets on the animals road tested on today's show, make sure you visit Adrian's Reptile World on the web at reptiles.com.au, where you'll find lots of useful tips and information on the upkeep and well-being of your pet.